everyone, it's Christy. Welcome to day 12 of my 2015 holiday card series. This is going to be the last installment in my 2015 holiday card series, and I'm going to be using a bunch of stamps from Mama Elephant. I'm going to be using the Reindeer Games, Cozy Christmas, Christmas Scene, and then I also shared Arctic Penguins, but it turns out I didn't have room for them. So I'm beginning with my reindeer from Reindeer Games, and I'm coloring them with E53 and E55, just the lighter parts of their body and their antlers. And I'm just going to show the one on screen because this original video was over an hour long because it's very, there's a lot of coloring in it. So I really had to edit it quite a bit down so that it would be enjoyable to watch. So moving on to the darker portions of their body, I started with E23 and now I'm going in with E25 to do my shadows, and then I'll darken that with E27, and then I'm just going to go back over those colors in the reverse order and blend that all out. I used W7 to darken the one reindeer's nose and R29 to color in the other ones. And I colored in one of the colors with R29 and the other with B26 and Y35 for the tag. And then moving on to our Santa, I'm giving him a base coat of R29, then I'm going in with R39 for my shadows, and then I'll darken that up even more with my R59. That's my favorite red combo. And I'm not going to color his hat on screen once again because I'm just trying to show you the blends and stuff and move on so that we can get to all the images. But I'll be using the same couple of color combos on this card over and over just to keep things simple and unified. Moving on to Santa's skin, I'm using E51 for the base and E53 for some shadows, and I'll just blend that back out. And I'll just do the same for Mrs. Claus, and then I'll move on to her hair, and I'm using W1, W3, and W5 for that. Hair is something that I am still trying to develop my skill set at. I usually tend to color animals, or as we call them, critter stamps. Those are my favorite. So I don't have a lot of practice with hair, but I'm trying to work on that, and it works for these small little images like this. So I'm just trying to keep a highlight in the middle there. And I'm just coloring up a few extra images to use on my card. I've got a plate of gingerbread cookies for Mrs. Claus to hold, and a cup of hot cocoa for Santa. And then I'm just doing 3 gifts, and I'm using those same colors. And the G's are the G24 and the G28. And the blue ribbon was colored with the same shades that I'm using for Mrs. Claus's dress, which is B23 and B26. So I'll just give her an all-over wash of the B23 and then blend in the B26 for my shadows. And the cup of hot cocoa for Santa was also colored with these 2 blues. And then I'm just coloring in her gloves really quickly. I'm going to actually make them look like pot holders, but I'm going to die cut those out separately so I can pop them up over top of the plate and the hot cocoa. So I'm just doing some quick coloring underneath so that you can't see any white. And then I'll just grab BG10 for her glasses. I've got all my images die cut out now. I also colored in a house and a couple of trees. The pattern paper I'm using is from the Chamel Christmas Magic 6x6. I really enjoyed this pad this season. And I'm just adhering that to my card base with some Tombow Mono Multi. And then I've got some die cut hills that are with the Mama Elephant Landscape Trio dies. The back one I'll adhere with some more Tombow Mono, and the front one I'm going to pop up with some foam tape. And then I'm just going to start laying out my images and gluing them on here and there. The ones towards the back I'm going to glue flat to the card, The ones towards the front I'm going to pop up with foam tape to create that sense of dimension. By the way, that house I just had to color like the new house that we just moved into this year. The house that we built. It's blue with a red door and a dark gray roof, so I had to color it like that. And then I just gave it some lights in the window with my Y35. I'm really excited to be spending our first Christmas here in the new house. So I'm just going to continue to tuck in my images here and there and create my little scene here, popping some presents behind the hillsides. And then I'm going to grab my white gel pen and I'm going to add a little bit of pattern to Mrs. Claus's dress. For some reason on this card I just couldn't stop with the details and adding things. I think it's because it was the last one in the series and I really wasn't ready to say goodbye just yet. I just ran out of time. So I just kept adding things, and now I'm adding the little plate and the hot cocoa for the Clauses, and then I'm just going to glue on their little gloves and the pot holders for Mrs. Claus. Later, when that glue dried, I did pop a tiny little piece of foam adhesive underneath the cuffs just so they would be supported since they were hanging over the edge of that popped up piece there, the little plate on the hot cocoa. And now that I've got those adhered, I'm going to grab my white gel pen again and just add a little bit of design to her little pot holders. After I had finished filming, I decided while I was taking the pictures that the blank space in the sky was really bugging me. So I ended up adding a third reindeer at the end, and you can see it in the new photo at the end. I also had to pull out my R20 and give them some rosy cheeks, and also my Christmas red stickles for Rudolph to give him a sparkly nose. And then I rounded the top two corners with my 1/4 inch setting on my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. And that completes the card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I had a great time filming it for you, and I hope you learned a lot. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching.